Okay. So we have already read this particular chapter earlier. Now we are going to focus on important areas of this particular chapter, and that too we are going to first cover this particular thing in the chapter, means the images that are given in the chapter. So today's session is very important for the exam perspective, because like mostly they ask questions from images and boxes that are given on NCERT, so that's why it is important. So let us now move. Okay, so we will see each and every image. So this particular image is like image of Yakshini uh, at Bharhat. Okay, so yesterday we had discussed about Bharhat, and this is the image of Yakshini at Bharhat.
Sir,
Okay, so here you can see this particular image is very stylistic in nature. So the body parts is properly mentioned over here. There are
sir,
some these circular patterns also. These are very elaborate patterns. So it is the this particular sculpture of Yakshini is found at Bharhat. Okay, so Bharhat we had already discussed that it is a place in Maharashtra. Okay, it is a place in Maharashtra. It is so this is the thing. Now let us now talk about the
sir,
next
can I read?
image. So we are
Uh,
quickly going to go from one
sir,
image to another. Now this is a
my
Jataka panel. Okay, I am discussing
sir, my
about the
voice
left
is
portion
clear.
of this particular thing. Okay, so this image I am discussing. Okay, this particular image. So it is a Jataka panel at Bharhat. Okay, so this particular Jataka panel. Okay, so Sunita is saying something. Okay, do you have to say something?
Yes, sir. Can I read this passage? Then you explain. Sir, my voice is clear to you?
Yes, your voice is clear.
Okay, sir. Because and now my cough and cold is and voice
What
is
happened?
clear. सर फीवर था ना तो अभी ठीक हो गया है कफ तो आवाज अभी सही हो गई तो क्या कैन आई रीड
Uh, okay, you want to read it?
हाँ जी सर एंड यू एक्सप्लेन after I
Okay.
finish the reading.
Okay, that's all right. So today we are not going to read the chapter. Chapter has already been finished. Today what we are going to do, we are going to revisit the images that we came across, while reading the chapter. And at the end of this particular chapter, okay, there are many images. There, like every image has been, described, in paragraphs. So there, like I'll ask you to read. Okay. So till then, whatever images we are coming across, we will just, I'm just going to describe these images. After then, like once we come across the last portion of this particular chapter, their description is also given on the images. Then I will ask you to read. Okay, will that be all
Oh,
right?
yes sir, yes sir.
Okay, that's all right. So when we talk about the left side image that is being shown on the screen, so it shows a Jataka panel that is there at Bharhat. Okay, it shows a Jataka panel which is there at Bharhat. And so to the right side of this particular thing, it shows Queen Maya's dream. Okay, so it shows Bharhat. So what is happening over here? An elephant is it seems to be descending from heaven. Okay, and this elephant, it seems to be going towards the womb of Queen Maya. Okay, Queen Maya is the mother of Siddhartha, means he's the mother of uh, Gautam Buddha. So like on her dream, an elephant is coming towards her. So this particular thing shows so elephant is associated with the birth of Buddha. So various symbols are used with different stages of life of Buddha. So like this is elephant is used to depict his birth. Okay, so this right image is depicting Queen Maya's dream, which is this particular thing is there in the Bharhat. Now let us move to the next image for the day. Okay, so this particular
Bhar
image shows plan of stupa 1 at Sanchi. Okay,
sir
so here
Bharat
if we talk about plan of stupa, here like there are this particular hemispherical shape is known as anda. Okay, it is known as anda. Then on the top of anda we have something. Okay, this particular portion is known as harmika. On the top of harmika we have chhatri. Okay, and the place around the place around this particular stupa here people can, people can walk around this particular stupa. This is known as Pradakshina Path. Okay, so Sanchi has a unique feature that it has two-storied Pradakshina Path. So we do have a lower Pradakshina Path as well as we have an upper Pradakshina Path over here. So this is a unique trend at Sanchi. And then we have Toranas. Toranas are the gateways. Okay, Toranas are the gateways, and so there are so gateways are there in all the four cardinal directions. Okay, it shows that the like Buddhism is open, right? Or this particular place is open for everyone, irrespective of irrespective of any like any restrictions. So the thing is, they do not place any restrictions on people who are willing to visit this particular stupa. Okay, it is open from all the sides. And apart from this, this Torana means this is the gateway. So it is guarded. This particular stupa is guarded by a fencing. Okay, this particular fencing is known as Vedika. Okay, it is known as Vedika. Okay, so Medhi is also there. I'm not very quite sure about like what is Medhi being represented over here. Now let us move to the next image. This particular image, okay, to the left of your screen, it shows stone carving at stupa number 1 at Sanchi. So this is a stone carving. Here we can see the image of an elephant. Okay, this seems to be a very delicate and very finely carved out stone carving over here. So it shows image of an elephant which is moving, and apart from this, some other some other animals are also can also be seen over here. Okay, so this is the stone carving at stupa number 1 at Sachi. Let us move to the next image. This particular image shows part of a railing at Sangol. Okay, this particular image shows part of a railing. So like railing has different parts. Okay, a lot of parts are there. So this is part of a railing at Sangol. Okay, so this is the thing. Now let us move to the next image. Okay, this image is also very finely carved. Okay, here a lady is being shown. She is holding something on her left hand over here. Okay, so this seems like that weaving kind of woolen thing it shows, and she's standing on the top of an animal. Okay, this is an animal. On the top of it, she is standing over here. Okay, so now let us move to the next image for the day. Next image over here, it shows meditating Buddha. Okay, so I'm talking about the left side image. Okay, the image which is there on the left side, it is a meditating Buddha. Okay, and so at Gandhar, okay, it belongs to 3rd century CE, 3rd century CE, and here it is being shown that like Buddha is sitting sitting in Dhyana Mudra over here. It seems like it is a Dhyana Mudra. And apart from this, what happens, like like to the left side and to the right side, some like I guess lions are being denoted over here. You can see the circled portion, and below Buddha over here, I guess they are the bodhisattvas. Okay, like bodhisattvas who are surrounding the Buddha. So like towards the head of Buddha, there is a halo. It is known as halo. Okay, this particular thing is known as halo. So it is meditating Buddha at Gandhar that belongs to the 3rd century 3rd century CE. Okay, Christian era. Now let us talk about the right side sculpture over here. This shows a bodhisattva, and it is also there at Gandhar. Okay, and it belongs to 5th century CE. Okay, it belongs to 5th century Christian era. And this particular thing over here, we can see that like he's a more muscled man as compared to this one. So on the left side, it seems that he is lean, slender, but on the right side, it shows like he's muscular in nature, right? His like head and like his face, everything is is more fleshy as compared to before. So these meditating Buddha, okay, especially they are found at Gandhar. Okay, they belong to 3rd century and 5th to 6th century Christian era. Okay, so this is the thing. Now let us move to the next image. Whatever images we are coming across, we will go through all the images, and at the end of this particular chapter, there there are descriptions of the images also. So we will see this particular image over here. So let us see the left portion of the image, which shows carving on outer wall of stupa at Amravati. Okay, so this is on the outer wall of the stupa. This is the carving on the outer wall of the stupa at Amravati. Okay, at Amravati over here. So we can see over here that, like, these images, like these sculptures are carved out on the outer wall of the stupa, which is located at Amravati. And let us see the right portion of this particular like right portion of it. Okay, so if we look into the right portion of this thing, it shows a stupa drum slab at Amravati, which belongs to the 2nd century CE. Okay, so it is a stupa drum slab. Okay, it seems like a drum over here, and you can see a lot of people, like lot of people. So they are coming towards this towards the top of this particular stupa. So we have already discussed that this is known as Anda. Okay, this is known as Harmika. So the thing is, this is not the entire stupa. This is just a stupa drum slab. Okay, it is not the exact stupa. It is just like it is a drum slab there at Amravati. Okay, so it denotes the same. So here we have Purana. Okay, so the thing is, in this particular carving, they try to imitate the entire stupa. Okay, now let us move to the next topic for the day. Okay, next image. Okay, we are going to discuss. So here we can see a panel which is there in the Nagarjuna Konda. Okay, a panel in the Nagarjuna Konda. So on this panel, it seems that a particular person is holding something on his head, and like I guess it is a kid. Okay, it is a small child which is being held by this particular person, but it seems that that child is very heavy, and many people are supporting, so that, like, the child do not fall down and all. So this shows a panel at Nagarjun Konda. Okay, now let us move to the next image for the day. Over here to the left side, we do have another image which shows, okay, unfinished Chaitya cave at Kanhad. Okay, unfinished Chaitya cave at Kanhad. So it is a Chaitya cave. Chaitya means the place of worship for the Buddhist monks. Okay, the place of worship for the Buddhist monks. So this is an unfinished Chaitya caves at Kanhad. Okay, and if we see the right side, okay, it is a Chaitya hall at Karla. Okay, it is a Chaitya hall at Karla. So in this hall, people sit, people meditate, people pray. Okay, so this is a place where people do dhyana. Okay, so this is a Chaitya hall at Karla. Now let us move to the next image. This particular image shows Nashik cave number 3. Okay, Nashik cave number 3. Here you can see this particular cave is very elaborately and finely carved out. Okay, so a lot of beams are there. These are known as beams. Okay, these are known as beams or pillars. Okay, so a lot of pillars are there that are supporting this particular stupa, and at the same time it has been carved out very finely over here. Okay, so recently we have talked about Kanheri caves. Okay, so it is also important because Kanheri caves was in news recently. Okay, because of Sanjay Gandhi National Park. Okay, so here on this screen you can see, like, I'm underlining that Kanheri cave number 9. So here further elaboration over the Kalra Chaitya plan is observed at Kanheri cave number 3. Okay, so they have discussed this particular thing. Kanheri cave is very important. You should revisit that thing. Now let us talk about the next image for the day, which is this image shows Chaitya. Okay, Chaitya hall at cave number 12 at Bhaja. Okay, Chaitya means, once again, this is the place of meditation where people worship. Okay, Lord Buddha. Okay, where people worship Lord Buddha. So here Chaitya cave number 12 at Bhaja. So this particular, this is cave number 12 at Bhaja. Okay. Now let us move to the next image. This shows the view of Ajanta caves. Okay, it shows the view of Ajanta caves from outside. If we are, let's consider, standing 500-meter or 1 kilometer away from the Ajanta cave, so this will be the view from outside. Okay, this will be the view from outside for Ajanta caves. Now let us move to the next image. Okay, this particular image shows a sculptural panel in the veranda of cave number 2 at Ajanta. Okay, cave number 1, cave number 2, they belong to 2nd and 1st century BCE. Okay, they belong to 2nd and 1st century BCE. So it shows a sculptural panel in the veranda of cave number 2 at Ajanta. Okay, it shows a sculptural panel in the veranda of cave number 2, Ajanta. Okay, now let us move to the next image. Okay, this particular image shows painting of the Buddha, Yashodhara and Rahul. Okay, and Rahul in cave number 17. Okay, Ajanta. So it is painting of Buddha, Yashodhara and Rahul, cave number 17 at Ajanta. So again, it is like it is from Ajanta itself. So Buddha is shown over here. Okay, it is she's Yashodhara and he is Rahul. Okay, so all of them are being shown in the single painting at cave number 17 at Ajanta. Okay, now let us move to the next image over here. So this particular image shows Apsara. Okay, Apsara at cave number 17 at Ajanta. So it seems like she's a lady, beautiful lady over here. Okay, she's being referred as Apsara, and so it is there in cave number 17 at Ajanta. So earlier image also, it is also from the cave number 17 at Ajanta. Okay, so it seems Sunita has to say something.
Yes, sir. It is not necessary to remember the cave number, like a 17, 16.
It is not necessary, but sometimes in UPSC, those caves that have important features, you know, like if we talk about like a Buddhist, if we talk about the stupas, the only stupa that has two pradakshina path, it is there at Ajanta. Okay, so the thing is, these important things are important. Okay, and some cave numbers are also important, like those caves that have some special significance, they are important. Okay, it is not required that we should be reading each one of these caves and learning the paintings of these caves, but like it is important for us to look into those caves that have been mentioned and they have used images to depict those things, especially painting of Buddha, Yashodhara and Rahul at cave number 17 Ajanta. You can remember this particular thing, image of Apsara. So they can just give an statement, image of Apsara, then along with Buddha, then like Yashodhara and Rahul are found in which cave number. So they may ask like that also. Okay. Okay, now, so I'm moving further. So we will discuss the next image for the day. This image is painted ceiling. Okay, ceiling means the top, like you have a ceiling at your home. So this is the ceiling. Okay, it is a painted ceiling at cave number 10 at Ajanta. It is a painted ceiling at cave number 10 at Ajanta. Okay, so you can see like this particular ceiling has different paintings over here. Each painting shows Buddha in one or other form. Okay, so it shows Bodhisattva. Okay, so the thing is over here, Buddha, again Buddha, then this is the halo over Buddha. Okay, again Buddha, Bodhisattva. Okay, like that halo. Like halo means something that surrounds their head. It shows that they are enlightened being. It shows that they are the people who have achieved nirvana. Okay, so now let us move to the next image. Okay, so this particular image shows painting at cave number 9 at Ajanta. So here you can see, we had already discussed that even cave number 9 belongs to 2nd and 1st century BC. Okay, so this shows that painting of cave number 9 at Ajanta, these paintings seem to have deteriorated from the outside of the wall. Means like these paintings do not do not still have that particular elaborate thing that was there in the early times. So it seems that there has been some kind of deterioration on the paintings in cave number 9. Okay, now let us move to the next image. Okay, this particular image shows part of Mahajanaka Jataka. Okay, panel at cave number 1 at Ajanta. So the thing is, we are time and again coming across cave number 1, cave number 17, cave number 9, okay, like that. So it is important that we should give special importance to the the time period to which these caves belong to. Okay, cave number 1, once again we have read in this particular chapter that they belong to 2nd century BC and 1st century BC. Okay, so this particular image shows part of the Mahajanaka Jataka panel. Okay, cave number 1 panel means like similar images are there throughout, throughout the wall or throughout the panel. Okay, so this is just a part of that particular thing. So here you can see this particular image. Here a bodhisattva is being depicted. Okay, bodhisattva, maybe Buddha. Okay, to the left of him is like, I think she's Yashodhara. Okay, then this particular person who is there, near the feet of Buddha, so he seems to be Rahula. Okay, so this is part of Mahajanaka Jataka panel at cave number 1 at Ajanta. Now let us move to the next image for the day. Okay, here we again come across two images. Okay, the left side image shows courtyard at Kailasha temple at cave number 16 at Ellora. Okay, Ellora means here we find theme of all. Themes are found from Buddhism, from Jainism, as well as from Brahminism. Brahminism means Hinduism. Okay, so here if we talk about this particular image that is being shown here, so it shows a sculpture of an elephant. Okay, so it shows courtyard, okay, at Kailasha temple in cave number 16 at Ellora. Okay, Ellora we had already discussed that Ellora has themes from all the different religions. Okay, it has theme from Brahminism, Jainism and Buddhism. And if we see the right side, this particular image over here, it shows a seated Buddha. Okay, so seated Buddha is there in the Chaitya hall. Okay, cave number 10 at Ellora. Okay, he's seated Buddha, okay, in the Chaitya hall at cave number 10 at Ellora. Okay, Chaitya we had already discussed. These are the places of worship where Buddhist monks, okay, or people who follow the Buddhist order, they go there, they meditate. Okay, and so they do dhyana in this at this particular location. Here again we can see Gajashur Shiva, okay, at cave number 15 at Ellora. Okay, Gajashur Shiva at cave number 15 at Ellora. So Shiva is being depicted that he has many hands. Okay, so each hand holds one or other thing over here. So this particular sculpture that we can see, it seems that he has multiple hands. So if we count the number of hands that is visible, okay, 1, 2, sorry, like if this is not a hand, then 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 hand can be seen over here, if I'm not wrong. Okay, so this is Gajashur Shiva at cave number 15 at Ellora. Now let us move little below. Okay, so now this is again the entrance to Elephanta cave. Okay, so Elephanta cave is the Elephanta and other cave sites are the last part of this chapter. We had already discussed. So this is entrance to Elephanta cave. So here we can see that Elephanta cave is very big in size over here. So it seems like some part of the structure is damaged. Okay, but people are entering into it. So this is like entrance to the Elephanta cave. Now let us move little down. Okay, so here again we come across two images. We will talk about the left side image first. So here it shows Udayagiri Khandagiri caves near Bhubaneswar. Okay, Bhubaneswar is in Odisha. Okay, so the left side image shows Udayagiri Khandagiri cave near Bhubaneswar. To the right side we can see details of the veranda at Udayagiri Khandagiri. Okay, so this is details of the veranda. Now what is this? Like here the left side image, it is the view from outside the cave. Like if you are on the on the main this courtyard there, like if you are outside this particular cave or in the middle of it, so you can see the view like that. Once you enter into the cave, okay, so this is like you come across this particular veranda which is being shown on the right side of the cave. Okay, so this is details of veranda at Udayagiri Khandagiri cave. Okay, now let us move to the next part. Okay, so with this the chapter has ended. Okay, now we are going to read about like we are going to discuss some other images that are there. So This is I have just rotated this screen. So here, you know, stupa number 1 at Sanchi. This particular image is stupa 1 at Sanchi. So here we can see this particular hemispherical shape thing is known as anda. On the top of anda there seems to be a chariot kind of thing. It is known as harmika. On the top of harmika we can see kalash, okay, kalasha. Then this particular gateway is known as torana, okay. And this particular you know, the side walls over here, you know, that stops people from entering, means like these, I mean, stupas has entrance from all the 4 cardinal sides, but these are known as Vedika. Okay, Vedika means these are railings over here. Okay, Vedika, Purana, Anda. Okay, then Harmika, then we have Kalasha, like that. So this is there at stupa number 1 at Sanchi. Okay, so now we come across you know, this particular thing. Now we need to read it. Okay, so I'll be making this particular document little big. So anyone, like, just allow me a moment. I'll see like how many people have joined. Okay. So is it possible for Iram to read this Sanchi Stupa detail over here?
Sure, sir. But it's a bit tilted in my screen actually, but
Okay,
it's all right here.
Just a minute. What I'll do, I'll rotate it again. I'll rotate till I get the clear view. Okay.
No.
Is it okay now?
Yes, sir. It's all right.
Okay,
So,
for other people, is it tilted or it is horizontal? Like it is similar to what we see in the books. Okay, that's all right. So now you can read it. I'll be muting myself so that like you do not receive any noise from my end.
okay. So Sachi, about 50 kilometers from Bhopal, the capital of MP, is a World Heritage Site, also a UNESCO. Along with other relatively small stupas, there are 3 main stupas at Sachi. That is stupa number 1. It is presumed to have the relics of Buddha. Then the stupa number 2, the relics of 10 less famous arhats belonging to 3 different generations. Then their names are found on the relic cascades. Then the stupa 3 has the relic of Sariputta and Maha Mongalyana. Then the stupa number 1, which is known for the carving on its gateway, is one of the finest example of stupa architecture. Basically the torans, I guess. Originally, the stupa was a small brick structure which expanded over a period and was covered with stone, Vedika and Toran. Okay, stone, Vedika and Toran, that is gateway. Then the Ashok lion capital pillar with an inscription is found on the southern side of the stupa. So the lion capital pillar is also there in the southern side of the stupa, indicating how South Sachi became a center of monastic and artistic activities. The south gateway was made first by the others. The Pradakshina path around the stupa is covered with Vedika. So there is also the upper Pradakshina path, which is unique to the site. The 4 gateways are decorated profusely with sculptures. Buddha is shown symbolically as an empty throne, feet, chhatra, stupas, etc. So these are the symbols of the Buddhas. That is the empty throne. Throne is empty, feet, chhatra, and stupas, etc. These are all depicting the Buddha. Then the torans are constructed in all 4 directions. Their stylistic differences. So screen is not visible. Okay, fine. So a toran are constructed in all 4 directions. Their stylistic difference indicate their possible chronology from the 1st century BC onwards. Okay, so though stupa 1 is the oldest stupa, the carving of images on the Vedika of the stupa 2 are earlier than those on the stupa 1. So the Vedika depicts that it is more earlier than the stupa 1. Jataka also became an important part of narratives in stupas. The figure at Sachi, despite being small in dimension, show considerable mastery of sculpting. Their physiognomic treatment of the body shows both the depth and dimension, which are very naturalistic. There are guardian images on the pillars and the Bhanjika, that is, lady holding the branch of trees. Sculptures are remarkable in their treatment of volume. So, the rigidity of the earlier sculptures of Stupa 2 is no more there. Each toran consists of 2 vertical pillars and 3 horizontal bar on the top. As we can see, each toran consists of 2 vertical pillars and 3 horizontal bar on the top. Each horizontal bar is decorated with different sculpture themes on the front as well as on the back. That is also known as Jataka stories. So, supporting the extension of the lowermost horizontal bar from the below are the images of Shal Bhanjikas. So please take a bit down.
What should I do?
So screen is tilted, and I'm not seeing the Sachi stupa. I'm having a Buddha's image in my screen.
Yeah. Just a minute.
So basically,
here,
the stupa. Yes, sir.
2 images are being shown. Okay, so on the top, like we do have an image. So this particular thing actually, the top one shows this thing. Okay, we do have 3 structures horizontally and 2 of them vertically. Okay, so what they are known as the 3 ones. Okay, so 2 vertical pillars are there and 3 horizontal bars are there. Each horizontal bar is decorated with different sculptural theme on the front as well as at the back. Supporting the extension of the lowermost horizontal bar from below is the image of Shalbhanjika. Okay, so this is the image of Shalbhanjika. Now, what is Shalbhanjika? So, if we see these horizontal bars, okay, these 3 horizontal bars, number 1, number 2, number 3. So, lowermost portion of the horizontal bar is being shown by Shalbhanjika over here. Okay, so it is considered that Shalbhanjika was a magical person, like anyone having any like health problems and all. The moment she touches the person, that person gets healed up. So this is Shalbhanjika. So the thing is, horizontal bars, the lowermost horizontal bars are being supported by the Shalbhanjikas. Okay, so we had already discussed about this thing, like this particular Sanchi Stupa, right? Iram, now let us move to the next image for the day. Okay, next image. So just a minute, I'll be making this screen little smaller. So here it shows seated Buddha at Katra Mound in Mathura. Okay, so if you want, I can rotate the screen so that like he is only rotate clockwise option is available. So now I have rotated. So it shows seated Buddha at Katra Mound in Mathura. Okay, seated Buddha. So here we can see this Buddha has a halo on his, like on his head over here. And this is, knotted headgear. It is known as knotted headgear. Okay, knotted headgear. Then, over here, he has a cloth, this particular cloth that is on his left shoulder, if I'm not wrong. This cloth is known as one thing. I just forgot the name of this particular thing. Sangati. Okay, this cloth is known as Sangati. Then he's sitting over here. Okay, so it seems like he's giving some kind of blessings to people. Okay, it seems. Okay, like it is also known as Abhay Mudra, if I'm not wrong. Abhay Mudra simply means that like Buddha is saying that you don't have to be fearful about anything. Everything will be all right. Okay, like that. So like besides Buddha, okay, to the left and to the right, Bodhisattvas are also being shown in this particular image. Okay, and below the seated Buddha, we can see lions are there. Okay, 1 lion, 2 lions, 3 lions. So lions are there below him. So this is what we can see, okay. And if we see on the top panel over here, okay, where Buddha is seated, here also, you know, some bodhisattvas are there, okay, bodhisattvas are there, we can see. So now we are going to read in detail about whatever is being shown. So in your screen, is everything shown the way they should be shown, or should I rotate?
No, sir, it's all right. It's okay.
Okay, so it is normal, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now can you please continue reading from here?
Yes, sir. So, okay. So Mathura was a great center for making sculptures during the early historic period, and many images have been found here. A large number of images dating back to the Kushana period is from Mathura. So the period is the Kushana. A distinct way of sculpting practiced at Mathura makes the image found here different from those at the other centers in the country. The image of Buddha from the Katra Mount belonged to the 2nd century CE, that is that is after the Christ. It represents the Buddha with two bodhisattva attendants. The Buddha is seated in Padmasana, that is crossed folded legs, and the right hand is in Abhya Mudra, raised a little above the shoulder level, whereas the left hand is placed on the left thigh. The Ushanisha, that is hair knot, is shown with the vertical raised projections. Mathura sculptures from this period are made with a light volume, heavy fleshy body. The shoulders are broad. The sangati, that is garment, over covers only one shoulder and has been made prominently visible, covering the left hand, whereas the while covering the torso. The independent volume of the garment is reduced to the body torso. The Buddha is seated on a lion throne. The attendant figures are identified as the image of the Padmapani and Vajrapani. Bodhisattvas as one hold a lotus and other a Vajra, that is thunderbolt. They wear crowns and are on either side of the Buddha. The halo around the head of the Buddha is very large and is decorated with simple geometric motifs. There are two flying figures placed diagonally above the halo. They bear a lot of movement in the picture space. Flexibility replaces the earlier rigidity in the image, giving them a more earthy look. The curves of the body are as delicately carved. The upright posture of Buddha image creates movement in space. The face is round with fleshy cheeks. The bulge of the belly is sculpted with controlled musculature. It may be noted that here are numerous examples of sculptures from Kushana period at Mathura. But this image is representative and is important for the understanding of the development of the Buddha image in the subsequent period. So basically they are talking about the Mathura art.
Right. So we will do one thing, we will see this particular image once again. So here in this image, you know, the knotted headgear, this one that I have encircled using red color, it is known as Ushanisha. Okay, it is known as Ushanisha. And this is known as halo. Okay, so where you know my cursor is moving, it is known as halo. And then this garment, okay, this garment is known as Sangati. Okay, and Buddha is being attended by two bodhisattvas. Okay, one of the bodhisattva is holding lotus. Okay, so he is known as Padmapani. Another bodhisattva is holding a Vajra. Okay, he is known as